We are live here on YouTube for the first time on its new YouTube channel, Monday Night Nerd. Welcome to the 145th episode of Monday Night Nerd. This is a new chapter in the podcast. If you are new here, my name is Myers Corp, and I am a cosplayer in the Southern Ontario area. And this is my show, Monday Night Nerd. And today is the first episode on its own YouTube channel. We have been doing this for 144 episodes. And with the YouTube algorithm and such, I've decided to move everything over to its own podcast YouTube channel. So everything going forward about the podcast will be here on YouTube, and all the cosplay stuff will be over on Myers Corp Cosplay, the old channel. All right. If you're new here, again, my name is Myers Corp. I am a cosplayer in the Southern Ontario area, and this is my show. We talk about nerdy things. We talk about music, cosplay, movies, comic books, wrestling, a whole bunch more. We are live here on YouTube, and we are live here on TikTok as well. I sound far away. Of course I do. Of course I sound far away. Am I? Why not? Why wouldn't I sound far away? This is the way. Let's try it. Is that a little better? Is that a little better? Do I have to talk in a deep, soothing voice? There's always something with these technical glitches. Even though I don't touch anything, it's still stuff happens. Whatever. We're gonna run with it. So today we are kicking off the first episode, and today we're going to be talking all about the movies and TV shows that need to be made about video games. We have video games that have had so much life and so many adaptations in the world of video games that we need them in the world of movies and television. And we're going to talk about 10 of them tonight. We're going to go through, there's not going to be, a ranking of like this one should be more than the other. We're just going to go through 10 that I think, after having so many adaptations, or at least a few, they should have a TV or movie property, especially now in a world where we're getting Super Mario Brothers, we've got Mortal Kombat, we've got Street Fighter, and a whole lot more. We're going to talk about some more tonight. And if you are here and you are new to the channel, you should subscribe, because like I said, we're going to be doing this live every single week. And if you're here on TikTok, you should follow Myers Corp Cosplay on YouTube or TikTok, and you can follow along with the show. If you guys have any questions or any comments about the show, hop over to YouTube, Myers Corp Cosplay, or wow, that's old one. Hop over to Monday Night Nerd on YouTube, and you can join the chat live. Okay, we got a little bit of news to go through, and then we will jump into the main event as we normally do here on the show. First off, we got to talk about something that I've been wanting to talk about for the last little while, because I have now seen this movie twice, and it has been bugging me not being able to talk about the movie. And that is Mortal Kombat. For those who don't know, I was graciously invited to the premiere in Toronto. I got to experience it 2 weeks ago on the big screen with a whole bunch of fanboys. It was such a fun time. And then, funny enough, the day that I got invited to go to the premiere, my buddy David Thorne, who has been on the show, he asked me if I wanted to go to the movies, and he was going to pick up tickets. So I actually ended up seeing it on Thursday as well, opening night. Now that the embargo is lifted, I can finally talk about my thoughts about Mortal Kombat 2. I have seen so many people saying that it is a 7 out of 10, it is a 3 out of 5, it is a B+, let's say. Overall, as a Mortal Kombat fan, I can say that they did a damn good job with the movie. There has definitely been some things they could have changed, which I think is across the board with any movie at this point that is an adaptation of a video game or another property. You could obviously do a whole bunch more story. You could obviously do complete retellings of one of the games. This is a different timeline than the video game, so if you're looking to go to Mortal Kombat 2 and think you're going to see the original Mortal Kombat 2 or a Mortal Kombat game gone beat for beat story, you're not going to get that. When it comes to the casting, I think all the cast was great. Karl Urban, as I've said, was incredible as Johnny Cage. He did a stand-up job. The humor was there, but also, as I've told people that have asked me, Karl Urban's able to get that Hollywood BS part of Johnny Cage that I think is missing in a lot of the properties. Ever since the original movie, he has very much been the goofy fish out of water, basically the character that writers write to explain all the backstory. And he's very good at that, but during this movie, he really brings that Hollywood swagger, that Hollywood, I can BS my way out of any situation into the character, and it just works flawlessly for the character. So Karl Urban does an amazing job. The fight scenes are really good. I have read reports that there was one of the fights. I'm not going to spoil the fight, but there is a Sonya fight that when I first watched it, I was like, that was a very limited fight. It was a very short fight. It wasn't very spectacular like the other ones were. And there are now reports coming out that that was actually supposed to be a completely different fight with a different character that was cut from the movie. So that, with that explanation, that makes a whole lot of sense now. And I don't feel like that kind of stand out as sort of a weird option. But overall, it is a fun movie. It is not Casablanca. It is not some, you have to sit there and really listen to the plot. It is a martial arts movie. It is a fight movie. It is a video game movie. Turn your brain off. Enjoy. If you are a Mortal Kombat fan, you will probably find this movie very entertaining. You will have a lot of fun watching it. But don't go in thinking it's some big epic drama that is going to captivate with its deep, intricate storyline. It's Mortal Kombat. Sit back, enjoy the fights, and have fun. When it comes to another thing that I'm reviewing, House of the Dead is a property in the video game world that has been around forever. And while I was scrolling through my PS5 a couple nights ago, I came across the House of the Dead remake. And the House of the Dead remake came up for a cheap $3.99. And I have played several of the House of the Dead remake sequels, etc. in the past for the PlayStation 3, 4, and 5. And I just haven't really enjoyed it because part of the love of that franchise is the light gun style shooting. And when you're sitting there and moving a trigger on a controller, it just doesn't have that same feeling. Well, the thing that caught my attention with this one is that the controller will not be, you can use the sticks if you want, but you can also use the 6-axis. So you can just move your controller around and it will follow on the screen, kind of like a light gun. So I was very interested, and for $3.99, I thought that is a pretty good price, so I purchased it. And my thoughts on the House of the Dead remake were, it is worth about $3.99. And that's not a bad thing. It is the first House of the Dead game. It is a 1990 shooter for the arcades. It is a very short game. I ran through that in about 40 minutes. And that's not a bad thing. It's just that's what the game was when it was released. The shooting is great. The mechanics are fun. It is, like I said, very short, but very entertaining if you're looking for just a quick zombie shooter. I think the original price is $20. I think that's a little pricey for how easy to go through this game is. It was fun running through the easy mode just to enjoy it. Once you get into the arcade mode, it's a little more difficult, obviously. It's a little more fun. With their arcade mode, it's not just throwing in credits. What happens is every time you die, they'll take a certain amount of your point total and put it towards a credit. I think that's really fun. That means you have to do a good enough job to keep yourself alive if you're going to keep dying. But overall, I recommend it if you're an arcade fan, if you like the House of the Dead game back in the day. I know there is the House of the Dead 2 that's out now, but it is still $20, and I'm not willing to pay $20 for that game. But give it a shot. It's on, I think it's like $3.99 right now, and I think it's still that price until the next couple weeks, so go check it out. When it comes to trailers, if you're a video game fan, the new Lego Batman trailer came out, and I sent this to a whole bunch of people because I love the Lego games personally, and I've always been a fan of the Lego games. There are Lego games that I have played through of properties that I've not actually seen the properties. I have played the Lego Harry Potter games. I've played the Lego Lord of the Rings games. I've played Lego Hobbit. I've not watched all the Harry Potters. I'm not a Lord of the Rings fan. I'm not a Hobbit fan, but I did play them and I did enjoy them. So I am a big Lego game fan. And I've played all the Lego Batmans, but this one looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. So this Lego trailer had a lot to show off when it comes to the bringing in of different Batman properties. So there are going to be different movie elements in there. There are going to be, this looks like it's going to be its own story. It's not just going to be a retelling of the movies, but different elements of the movies will appear in the game. So I'm very interested of how they're going to do that. We know that almost all the Batman movies are going to be brought up, from the Michael Keatons to the Val Kilmers to the Batman and Robins and everything in between. It looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. And what made the trailer even better was that Seal's Kiss from a Rose from Batman Forever was the song that was on the trailer. And I lost it when I saw that, because that is my first Batman movie. I've said on the podcast in the past that I grew up, my first Batman is actually the Adam West show, because my mom's boyfriend at the time showed me all of those episodes back in the day. So I don't have a problem with a very fun, campy Batman, but my first movie was Batman Forever. So I thought it was such a fun trailer, and I'm really excited to get the game. I was actually talking to Freakish Workshop last night about it, and I said, if I didn't know that WB and the Telltale people have a history of putting the games out, putting big price tags on it, and dropping that price very quickly, I would go out and buy it day one. But I got a feeling by the time I get to the point where I'm going to need to play the game, because I'm just run out of games to play, that price will be dropped. So as much as I would like to do it first day, they have a history of dropping the price, so I'm going to wait, but I'm really still excited for it. In the chat, we have Pretty Nerdy Crystal, we have Marcy, we have... Why does your thing still say Rado, Alex? Mercy, hey all, had a hard time getting into the new chat, Mike. Interesting. Okay, I'll make sure to look into that. I just found out there was a Street Fighter movie coming out, and there was a trailer. Really? You didn't hear about the Street Fighter trailer? Oh, it's gonna be such a fun time. I think that trailer looks really good. I had my brother-in-law message me about it, and he's just like, I just don't understand why it looks so campy. I'm like, it's a Street Fighter movie. What are you wanting? Like, it's a fun movie. I'm really excited to see that. And I'm also really excited to see you, Alex. I believe I'll be seeing you next weekend. We are getting into the heavy con season. Anime North will be my next convention in 2 weeks. May 22nd to May 24th, I will be debuting my Darius cosplay on the Saturday. Speaking of Street Fighter, I will be Dan on Sunday. You can check out my social medias for more about that. And then 2 weeks after that, on June 5th and 7th, we will be live in Niagara Falls for Niagara Falls Comic-Con. It will be a big weekend at Niagara Falls Comic-Con. Go check out their website to see all of the huge guests that are going to be there. We're going to be nuts. He said, glad there's no Van Damme. Hey, the Van Damme Street Fighter is actually a fun movie if you turn the brain off. I don't mind it. It's a guilty pleasure of mine. You will be there. Good. I can't wait to see you. I haven't seen you in a little while. Other than that, if you're a video game fan and you're a PlayStation fan, you should go onto your PlayStation Network. PlayStation announced today that it is the 10-year anniversary of Uncharted 4. So I believe they said all of the Uncharted games are free for the next little while. So if you've never played Uncharted, especially Uncharted 4, go on your PlayStation Network, search Uncharted, and you should be able to download those for free if you haven't played them. I'd be very surprised if you haven't, unless you're a brand new gamer, because those have been free and on discount a billion times since their release. So I can't check because I've already had them on my PlayStation Network, but I've read a bunch of reports saying people are enjoying the free downloads. So if you're a fan, go get them for free. Let me just check my notes. The only other thing that came out today, and I'm surprised this is happening, but I'm also not surprised that this is happening. We have another Baywatch series coming out, folks. It's 2026, and we're about to have another Baywatch series, led by Mr. Stephen Amell. They're making another Baywatch series that'll be debuting in January, a TV series. Why? Like, I understand it's a property that everyone knows, but we're also in 2026. I don't think Baywatch is really the show that people are really interested in watching. For those younger people in the audience, back in the day, that was a very provocative TV show, would be a very good way to explain it, before the internet existed. But now that we have the internet, I think Baywatch is kind of a really boring show. I used to love Baywatch back in the day. I used to have the Pamela Anderson poster in my bedroom. However, yeah, it's 2026, and I don't know if this is really the show that we need, unless they're going to bring back the theme song, because the theme song is still a banger in 2026. But yeah, they released the first photos today of the cast. They are in red swimsuits, and yeah, I don't know if we need this in 2026, but here we are, another Baywatch series. Alex said, if you're younger, get ready to be offended. yeah. It doesn't go over that well in 2026, but whatever. Last thing, news. We didn't really talk about it last week because, to be honest, I don't think anybody really cares. And I don't mean that and no one cares about me, but it's just, it's honestly, I'm at that age. It doesn't really mean anything. Last week was my birthday. Last Saturday, actually, was my birthday. I am now 38. I am a young 38. I do not feel 38. But we had a great time. I got to go to Ottawa Street and enjoy some food with some friends. We got to hit some food trucks. They shut the street down and enjoyed that. And then I've just been working my butt off trying to get Darius ready for Anime North. However, I can say that I did get an upgrade thanks to the sponsor of today's show. I got very spoiled for my birthday from my amazing, incredible, beautiful wife. And let's just say that the 3D printing game of mine is about to go through the roof because I got an upgrade and I cannot wait to start building full cosplays by 3D printing. So that'll be the future. But yeah, that's kind of all the news for today. If you're still here, I greatly appreciate you spending some time with me tonight. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Like we said, we are here every single week now, live on Monday Night Nerd on YouTube, and we will be doing the podcast, except for next week. Next week, we will not be here because I usually do not do episodes during the holidays because holidays, people are busy, seeing family, and I'm also doing that as well. So next week, we will not be live, but the week after, we'll be back with an Anime North review. Sponsor, as always, folks, if you're new to the show, I have the same sponsor every single week because I would not be here without her. I would not be the person I am without her, and that is my beautiful, loving, incredible, amazing wife. She is always my sponsor because, seriously, I'm a better person with her in my life, and she spoils living daylights out of me with that giant 3D printer in the other side of the room. Yeah, hun, you will always be my sponsor. I love you. Okay, let's get ready for the main... Let's get ready for the main event. It's time for the main event. We are here. It's the main event of Monday Night Nerd, episode 145. We're going to be talking about some video games that need real-world movies or TV shows. Now, why are we talking about this? Well, we've done a bunch of video game episodes lately, mostly because, the Mortal Kombat thing was a pretty big day for me, and I had a lot of fun doing that, but also I'm a big video game fan. I think that the video game world has seen a lot of good adaptations lately with different movies, different TV shows, like I said, the Super Mario Brothers movie is doing really well. The Last of Us did very well on TV. Fallout did really well on TV. And I think that the world of video games has so many rich characters, so many rich storylines that you could easily pull from and not just recreate all of these amazing properties in a TV or movie, but also take them into different worlds, take them into different stories that we don't know about. Like, I think that's something that is kind of bugging me about the God of War series, is that from what I've read and all of the characters that have been announced, if you're a fan of that property and you've played God of War Ragnarok, it looks like they're just going to retell the Ragnarok story, which it's a great story. I have no problem with that. But if you've already played the game, you know what happens. And also, you kind of need that first God of War, the first remake, or whatever you want to call it, reboot, to make Ragnarok feel more. If you don't have that initial Kratos and his son storyline and their bond together, you don't really appreciate Ragnarok as much. So I think these are some video games that could use a good adaptation into a movie or a TV show that don't really, they can live on their own if they do the games, but they don't need a whole ton of backstory, and you don't need to have played the games to really enjoy them as much as you could. Alex said, need a good Assassin's Creed. We got an Assassin's Creed movie, remember? And I never watched it. I should watch it. I really should. I've been debating on doing, kind of doing it on here as sort of a second tier thing of a, like a movie reaction thing, but just really bad movies and bad video game comic book adaptations, like watching the original Super Mario Brothers movie, watching the Madam Web movies and stuff like that. So thought about it. Not a good one. Yes, it is, from what I've heard, it is not a good one. Okay, let's jump into our first property, and this is one that you could go two different ways on it because it does kind of have two completely different worlds that you could explore, but I really think the first two work better than the third one technically. And it's a series that my wife is a giant fan of, and I really didn't like until I met my wife and we sat down, and I actually sat down and enjoyed the games, and I fell in love with the story and fell in love with the world, and that is BioShock. Like, BioShock is a very rich, very strong, very cool world to live in. The world of Rapture and the creatures and the people that inhabit that world would be such a fun TV show. And by the way, I'm also going to mention with each property whether I think it'd be better as a TV show or it'd be better as a movie. I know there have been talks over the years of doing something BioShock, whether it was a movie or a series. I personally think the TV show would be better. I think you could do more with maybe a 7 to 10 episode series and really get into what happened to Rapture, why it happened, the dynamic between the gods and men storyline. And it also allows you to enjoy the world, the characters, like seeing the big daddy walking around, the little sisters walking around, figuring out their backstory. Like, there are a bunch of these TV shows. I would say one of the ones that jumps to mind, Wonder Man. I think there's 7 episodes in the first season. 5 of them are very much in the world that's happening right now, and then there's like a 6th episode that does it's an entire flashback episode that allows you to understand more. I think you could totally do that with this series. You could do a whole thing about the world, somebody going into it, trying to survive, and then they end up in the 6th episode showing how the little sisters become them, and whether it's the harvesting or the saving. I think you could do so much with this TV show. And like I said, pretty much since it became a popular video game, and again, I mentioned the third game going up into the skies. You could do that as well, but I think being underwater is a little better. They've had so many chances to do adaptations, and pretty much every couple years you'll hear someone saying they're trying to figure out how to do a BioShock movie or a TV show. And I think if you're going to do it, you should do it soon, because we're getting further and further away from this property, and the fan base is getting older and not wanting to care as much about it. So I think it's about time we get a series like this, especially with the technology and the costume design and stuff that is shown now with shows like Fallout. You could kill it with this show. So we're starting out with a big boy. We're starting out with BioShock. The second one, I think you could also do a TV show. And again, another one that has a giant world, there's so many ways you could do this. This is not a series that could just be a 7 episode. This could go multiple seasons because there are so many characters and so many people love. And I know this even as someone who never really played the series. This is just from people telling me about it and seeing all of the fan fiction, the art, the property, etc., and that is the Mass Effect series. This is one that stuns me that they've never done anything with. How could you not take this huge world with these amazing characters that are beloved by not just the fans, but are well known by people who haven't even played the game, like myself. I don't understand why they've not made a series out of this. This is, again, 3 games, 4 technically, that you have a character that could do many different things with many different people, but you could take them in so many different ways. And I have to say, if you were to do Mass Effect as a TV show, if you've never played Mass Effect, you kind of create your main character, Commander Shepard, and you could create whether it's a male or a female. I personally think a female Commander Shepard would work way better than a male Shepard. I think you could do both, but I think having the dynamic with the female Shepard based off of how well it worked in Fallout, I think you could do it that way. So personally, that's my choice. But yeah, even with the world, the characters, the relationships, like there are people who, when they start this game, they find someone that they're connected with and they will start that relationship building in the game and just follow it through all 3 games. I think you could easily do that with the TV show as well. You could do that, one relationship for one season, one relationship for another season, dealing with another species and another one. So many different things you could do with this. And it's definitely a series that I think you could, because there's so many dynamics in this of not just a black and white storyline, you could definitely do a more complex, a gray type of storyline, not just a simple good versus evil, which I think works very well on a TV show. But I think having the dynamics of, sometimes you have to be kind of a jerk and sometimes you have to be an extra good person. I think that would be a really fun dynamic to have in a TV show. So my choice for number 2 is Mass Effect. Similar to Mass Effect and a world that is huge and enriched with something that was a very popular type of movie and a very popular type of TV show back in the day, I think in 2026, 2027, I think we should get a resurgence of this because in today's world, we have a very technology-driven world. Right now, I am streaming this live on YouTube and live on TikTok. And everyone is enjoying this. However, there is a segment of the world that is wanting to go back to a world that didn't have so much technology and relied more on personal relationships and being off the grid. And I think a show based off a video game that would do very well in that type of audience would be a Red Dead Redemption. I think we could do a Western TV show today, like the old Western movies, like the old TV shows like Rawhide and etc. And personally, I know how much Red Dead Redemption 2 is loved by the fan base. I know. Personally, I think we should do Red Dead 1. That's a personal bias, but my reason is it is very much I really like the John Marston story, personally. I've played a little bit of number 2. It is a huge world, and I think you could do with it. But again, personally, I like John. The setting of the West, meeting all these fun characters, doing side quests, doing all these fun missions. You could do all these things in a TV show. And again, similar to Mass Effect, you could do this over several seasons because there are several people that John Marston is hunting through Red Dead Redemption, trying to get his redemption from all of the things that happened in his past. You could do each person that he's going after and the people that turn on him, and that could be a season. And let's be honest, we get to a point where we kind of, let's say we get close to finishing the story, there's always Undead Nightmare. You could always throw an Undead Nightmare in there and do a story that maybe it's a dream, maybe it's a hallucination or something, and do something where he is going through and fighting the undead and riding the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. You could have so much fun with that, and I think you could do so much with this series. So And again, it'll take it, there's an audience out there that I think would look for something like this that is not as technology driven, not as real world as we have in a lot of our TV shows today. I think this would be a lot of fun. Or even if you didn't do a TV show, you could do a movie. Either one works, but personally I think a TV show would work better. So we have BioShock, Mass Effect, Red Dead Redemption, another one that I just think would kill, and this is going the complete opposite way. We're going to go heavy on tech and heavy on a current property right now, and that is Horizon. Like, you're telling me having these mechanical animals running around on a TV screen would not look incredible in today's technology? I think we could pull this off so well. And it is very much a how did this happen story. This is a story that, you know, the character Aloy wakes up and she doesn't understand where she is. She doesn't understand how the world became what it is. And she is spending the whole story trying to figure out what happened and how she fits into the story. And is she the chosen one? Is she someone who could save the world or, you know, solve all of its problems? That is a very interesting story in a world that has been, you have the world look of your Last of Us and etc., where the world has been destroyed and is taken over by greenery. And then you also have these amazing creatures running around the world trying to, you know, I don't want to spoil what the game is, but why are they there? How did they get there? I think that would be such a fun TV show. And again, with the success of The Last of Us, it showed that that type of story really works. However, personally, as much as I do love The Last of Us game, it is a very dark game. It is a very grim game. And I think we've gotten to a point over the past couple of years that we're getting a little tired of the zombies. You know, we've kind of had over a decade, if not 2 decades, of just zombies down our butts. We're kind of getting tired of, you know, there's not much to do in a zombie property that hasn't already been done. And I said this when I started watching The Walking Dead. I really enjoyed the first season, but once we got into the second and third season, I was like, I kind of, because I read the book, but also if I didn't read the book, there's one of 2 options at the end. Either everyone dies or they find a cure. That, you really can't do much more than that. Like, that's every zombie movie, every zombie TV show has one of those 2 outcomes. I don't find that interesting. But in a Horizon, you'll have that world, but not as dark and not as grim. It's trying to find out Aloy's story. And I think that's a really cool thing. I think visually this would look amazing up on, honestly, on a TV screen. You could do a movie, but I think this is, again, this, because she's got such a big story from both games, you could do so much with a TV show of her going into different parts of her story and of her world. This one is shocking to me. And I say that I'm shocked that this was not in the Mario movie, or specifically Mario Galaxy, because Mario Galaxy had so much fan service, cameos, etc. And we got one main character that is from the Smash universe that everyone was so happy to see, and they're getting a new game coming out. But I am surprised that this property has never gotten anything, because it is such a loved franchise and has had so many titles since its debut. How have we not had a Metroid movie yet? Really? Like, how have we never had a proper Metroid Samus movie? I don't understand that. That seems like a layup and a half. Like, we've got people who love Ripley in the Alien franchise, and we have never been able to figure out how to make a Samus Metroid TV show or movie. I don't get it. Samus is an incredible lead. Ripley is such a fun villain. It's such a crazy looking villain. Like, the visual of looking at the back of Samus looking up and having Ripley over top of her with her wings out, it would look so cool in a movie up on a big screen. The CGI would look incredible. The costuming would look so good. I've seen cosplayers knock this one out of the park. I could just imagine what Hollywood would do with it. And even you could possibly, probably, maybe not, but it would be really cool to do the whole movie kind of like the first game, where we just follow Samus around the world and she defeats her enemies, possibly defeats Ripley at the end. And at the end, helmet comes off and you find out it's a girl. Like, I know the internet exists and it's kind of hard to hold that spoiler for anybody who's a fan of it, but I bet you could probably pull that off for a few people who may not know the character, just like, oh, I'm going to go see this sci-fi movie that's really cool, and then you find out it's a girl at the end. Like, I think that'd be fun. So yeah, this is one that I really suspected when Super Mario Bros. Did well. I was like, okay, this is an easy choice that they should make a movie out of this. And I've heard nothing about them making this, and I don't understand why. It's such an easy choice. It's a sci-fi action adventure. Why are we not doing this? Another one that I think would be a really, really fun and would definitely bring a horror franchise into the gaming world. I mean, we've had action, we've had kids, we've pushed the limits especially with Mortal Kombat. I think we should go a little further, especially with the horror genre kind of getting the renaissance of getting your Scream to come back in the world, having Terrifier do so well. You can tell that there's an audience out there that is looking for that ultra gore, that ultra bloody type world. I think it's about time we get a Dead Space movie. Like, really, we're on the cusp of the perfect time, because this would be so fun. This would be so fun to just have just limbs going everywhere. Like, this would be so cool. And especially if you directed it and shot it similar to another great horror movie, Event Horizon. Like, if you ever go back and watch that movie, that has got so cool effects, so much fun in the way that they do the body horror and morph people. That could be so good in this movie. And it's really a survival story. It's not a hard story to really understand. Like, it is very... We're just going to have this guy run around with this machine that rips limbs apart, and he is just going to take down everything that moves. I think you could do a really fun horror movie like that. And it's an iconic lead character look, and it's an iconic weapon. Again, a lot of these things are so easy. And you can't tell me that it's not. Like, it's very similar feeling to how I feel when people say, oh, at Marvel we have not been able to figure out how to make a Blade movie. Like, guys, it's a vampire hunter. You've already done 3. How is this still complicated? How are you still having trouble figuring out how to make a Blade TV show or movie? I don't get it, but supposedly it's really hard to write that. The same thing with this one. Like, I get that there was probably a time when the studios were like, I don't know if we want to put that much money behind it. But as I said, I think the Terrifier series and other horror movies have done and shown that there is an audience out there for it. And you could easily break in the money with this, especially, and not just with people who know the series. I think you could bring in some new fans with this property. Pretty Nearly Crystal, guys, I'm shocked his favorite game, Power Washer Simulator, isn't on the list so far. You know what? If there was a movie about Power Washer Simulator, I would be so happy. And there's probably people out there who wish there was a train simulator movie. That is just a movie that is going to have to play in my head. I don't know how would you do it. See the thing that I think right off the bat, if we were to do a Power Washer Simulator movie, is like making it like stupidly epic, like really dramatic music, and like, and let me take you back. So what my wife and I do when I'm playing Power Washer Simulator is that every time a level starts, I look at her and we try and figure out how the place got so dirty. So when one of the first levels in the first game is like a house is covered in soot, I'm like, what happened? Did the house blow? Did the house catch on fire? And I'm taking away all the soot, or something like that. That's what I want to do. I want to do I want to do the Power Washer Simulator movie like that, where you have to figure out how you'll find the backstory of how everything got dirty, and at the end he takes off his helmet because you never see what the guy or girl actually looks like, and take it off, and it's like Tom Cruise or Benedict Cumberbatch or something. Like it's some A-list actor that you never see their face. Oh, see, I wrote the movie. There you go. Sony, take it, enjoy. I'll take a writing credit. So we've gone through a couple movies. We've gone through a couple TV shows. I'm going to throw we're going to change it just this little bit because I really think this would be a fun one. But it's not going to be a movie. It's not going to be a TV show. It's going to be a short. And I think this works very well as a short because there's not a lot of information about it. And I think if we did a movie or a TV show, we'd have to do a bunch of trailers and a bunch of stuff like that. That would reveal too much. We need something to just kind of throw at the audience and not tell them anything. And that would be the game Inside. Now, I'm not going to tell you what happens in Inside, but this is one of those games where you kind of get dropped into a world and you don't know what's going on. You don't know why this is happening, and it's a very simple control scheme. I think this would be an amazing short. Just drop them into the game and drop them into the short and see where everything leads. This is it's a nameless person and it's a faceless person trying to survive this world. There's another game like this called Limbo, another great choice for this, where it is a faceless, nameless child trying to survive a forest, a dark forest with things trying to kill them. I think that would be a really fun short to do maybe before a Dead Space movie, where it's a video game property you might already know about, but could just be a fun little short to show people what you can do without doing a whole bunch of backstory and a whole bunch of knowing everything that happens in a world. This is a very shadowy type game. Again, you don't know what's happening. You're kind of running through a whole bunch of industry. I think you could have a lot of fun with this. Similar to what I said about Metroid, this is another franchise that has been around forever, and kind of, I don't want to say lost the respect from the fans, but they've had a couple flops, but I think a lot of people still love the original couple games, and I think you could definitely do some fun with this. And in a world of today where we love the action movies, like we really do love a good action movie, but we also love that kind of parody part of it where you kind of just enjoy it, making fun of the property it's a part of. I think we should get a Contra movie. Like a bunch of guys, probably two, shooting a whole bunch of aliens. I think it could be kind of fun. And especially, like I said, if they did something maybe like a Starship Troopers, where it is kind of a parody in and of itself. Again, a very simple concept that I think you could do a really fun job with. A simple, mindless, hey, big alien threat, we got to run through and just bulldoze every single alien we could have fun with. Lots of CGI aliens, lots of exploding. You could do so much fun with this. And again, it's not something that needs, as much as I love a Horizon, as much as I love a Red Dead Redemption, you kind of do need a lot of story. You need a lot of background. You need a lot of understanding of why everything's happening. I don't think you need it with this. I think you could just take these characters and just drop them in and go, hey, we're killing aliens. Go, and just go nuts with it. So I think this would be a fun one. I think they should do it. Again, I don't know why they aren't. We only got a couple left. If you're just joining, we've talked about BioShock, Mass Effect, Red Dead, Horizon, Metroid, Dead Space, Inside, Contra. With the giant fandom that is the F1 racing in today's world, and to be honest, back in the day when NASCAR was really big, but more specifically in the F1 world now, we know that there are a lot of racing fans. We know that there are a lot of people out there who just love the intricacies and the details of racing teams and the cars and etc. So I do not understand how we do not have an F-Zero TV show or movie. This is one of those properties that Nintendo for some reason sleeps on. It is one of those, it's kind of similar with Star Fox. Like, we are getting a new Star Fox game, but we're getting a Star Fox game that is a remake of N64 Star Fox. Why can we not just make another good Star Fox game with a brand new story? We've done a couple that were okay, but F-Zero's similar. Like, this is a game that is very easy to understand. A bunch of people get in some cars and go flying down a track. We could take this and turn this into an amazing property. Like, if you can't see the similarities between what this could be and episode 1 pod racing, it's pretty similar, and I think you could do the same type of thing with it, where we find out about the drivers, we find out about what their backstories are and how they got involved and what their cars are like, and we could, who knows, maybe you could mix them up with the F1 teams and have, F1 cars will have kind of F-Zero looks to them. I don't know. But a futuristic racer with so many characters that, like, we know Captain Falcon from Smash, but there are so many other characters in this franchise we could enjoy. Again, it seems very simple, but for some reason we haven't done it yet. And again, isn't that just Fast and the Furious? It is Fast and the Furious. If that was on Earth. Yes, every racing movie is Fast and the Furious, but on Earth. But this is in space, and this is a lot faster and a lot more fun, and the characters are a lot more fun. But it might also be about family, because isn't everything about family? Family. Last but not least, folks, this was on the list before everything was announced, and again, I am excited that this individual was brought up in the Galaxy movie, but I feel like we could do a lot more with them. And again, I don't understand why we haven't, and that is Star Fox. The last one on the list is our Star Fox team. With how well he was fanboyed and everyone had so much fun with him being in Galaxy, I wouldn't be surprised if we get this in the next little while, or at least an announcement of it. How we haven't got it yet, I still don't know. Like, this is a franchise that has been around since 1993, I believe. And with the popularity of movies like Zootopia in space, folks, like, I don't understand. You've got so many iconic characters, not just the Star Fox team, but you've got the Star Wolf team. You've got all the people in the military that help Star Fox. You've got Andros. You've got so many characters. You could have a huge cast voicing all these people. You could do an animated. You could do a sort of a not cartoony, but more of a CGI look, kind of like they're doing in the new game. You could do so many things with this, and it's got such a rich backstory with, again, not that many games. Like, if you don't realize, I was kind of talking to a buddy of mine about it, where I'm excited about the new Star Fox game because I love Star Fox 64, but then it kind of hit me like, we've had 4 releases of this same game, but different. Like, we had Star Fox 64, we had the 3D version for the DS, we had the Wii 2 remake, and now we have the Switch 2 remake. I love Star Fox 64. I used to speedrun it when I was a kid, but I don't know if we need to see this exact story again. I'm glad they're adding backstory, and I'm glad there's going to be cutscenes and showing what happened to Fox's father and all that. That's cool, but we could do a lot more with this series, especially with such a rich collection of characters. Like I said, not just the Fox team, but everyone else. So overall, we've talked about Star Fox, we talked about F-Zero, we talked about Contra, Inside, Dead Space, Metroid, Horizon, Red Dead, Mass Effect, and BioShock. Again, I think overall the point is we could have so many good properties from so many amazing video games that, to be honest, a lot of these games I grew up with, and a lot of us grew up with, because you're probably close to the same age as I am, that the younger generation doesn't really get into. Like, thankfully, we're getting this new Star Fox, so the younger generation will have a chance to see, experience what we did with Star Fox 64. But the series of, like, Metroid, I bet you there's a lot of people who play Smash and love Samus, but don't know a ton about the Metroid series. Same with Contra, same with F-Zero, same with even, I gotta admit, probably Mass Effect and BioShock. Mass Effect Andromeda was like, 10 years ago almost, if not longer. BioShock hasn't had anything since probably 12 years ago. It's been a while, and with so many things coming out, this generation just they don't have those memories of those properties like we do. So I think bringing them into the world in different forms, like a TV or a movie, I think it could bring new life to these franchises. And if the TV and movie does well, maybe we'll get another game. Who knows? Shinobi says, I love the Panzer Dragoon movie or series myself. That's a deep cut. That is a deep cut. I don't even know anything about that series, but I know the name because it stands out. And that is kind of it, folks. We are at the 7:52 mark. I appreciate you guys jumping on here to the new channel, Monday Night Nerd. If you're new here, this is where the podcast is going to live from now on. So if you are not subscribed, make sure to subscribe, because if you're subscribed to Myers Corp Cosplay, you won't get a notification when I'm going live. You won't be a part of all of these episodes. As I said, next week I will be not here live because it is a holiday here in the Great White North. I will be taking care of my family, and I will be doing some cosplay on the other side of that wall, getting ready for Anime North, which will be the weekend after. I will be there for Friday through Sunday. I will be doing a little bit of work because I'm part of the AV club that will be working on the main stage and other places around the con. So you will see me running around, but I will also be in cosplay on Saturday. And then we'll be back here the week after, and we will be talking all about my thoughts on Anime North 2026. I can't believe it. It's 2026 Anime North, but it is such a fun con. I'm not an anime fan, but I still love the cosplay community and the gaming community that is at that con. So with that, I will let you get out of here and enjoy the rest of your night. I really appreciate you guys tuning in. It means a lot that you spend some time here with me on Monday nights. You guys have yourselves a great night, and I will make sure to be back in 2 weeks to talk all about Anime North, and I hope you will be here too. Take care. Love you all. See you soon. Thanks so much for watching Monday Night Nerd. Make sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on